Okay, we're on. So today is going to be pretty interesting as we have three different projects we're going to work on, all in different stages of the cycle. So, let's see which one I want to start with. We're going to start with this one since it's Mother's Day coming. I've been working on. Honestly, thought I was going to keep this song off the stream, but sometimes I don't finish things in time. So this is a personal song, but it'll probably make its way on the YouTube channel in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Just making sure everything's good. Alright. Not sure what's going on with YouTube. I guess I'll check back. Okay. So, this is a song that's on paper. So, right now, sometimes songs don't need too much composition. Like, sometimes you see me on here writing every note of every instrument. Sometimes that's not needed. And this is one of those cases. It's not really needed because the song is so focused on lyrics. And I don't really want the instruments to be, distracting from the message. Because the message is very simple. The chords and the harmony are actually interesting. So, this is basically how you compose a certain type of music. Like, this is called lead sheet. But my lead sheet's kind of changed from what it used to be. So, what I do is I put the title here. And this is what I've already done in my notebook, but since this is going to be like a gift, I want to actually print it out. It's kind of like a card, in a way. And I'm planning to perform this song for my mother tomorrow. Okay, everything looks fine now. So this is that journey. So what I used to do is I would write the lyrics and put the chords over which lyric, all that stuff, like you would see on ultimateguitar.com or something. But now I do it differently because a lot of times these songs, and it only works for songs that have the same progression in the verse. The verse doesn't change progression at all. And C major 7 and A7. Okay, so we have that. So these are the chords that are in the song, in the verse. And this just kind of tells you the makeup of it. Okay. So yeah, we are in the composition stage. So this makes up that. And the chorus progression is actually almost identical. So even though the progression's the same, we still write it. Chorus. And it's the same thing. There's going to be one small difference. D minor 7. Let me make this small. I don't know why it's so big. 14. So it still uses the D minor 7, uses G2 instead of G major. C major 7. Although I think sometimes it swaps with C major, but if anyone performs a song, they could really do whatever. This will be 14. Okay. And then it's A minor. So not A dominant 7, A minor instead. So while they're the same letter chords, they're slightly different. So D minor 7 is exactly the same. G2 is like a G major chord but with an F sharp in it too. So it's subtle different there. C major 7's the same, though I think sometimes it's substituted for C major depending on how I feel. And then this last one is A minor versus A dominant 7. So this chord kind of makes it sound a little less serious, like a casual conversation. And then this chord is like, I'm telling you something serious here. So that's the reason for the change from A dominant 7 to A minor 7 for those interested in stuff like that. Okay, so after we got this, it's time to put the lyrics. So this is kind of my first time doing this on Google Docs. We're just going to write it like you would a typical song first. And if you're able to write songs, they make good gifts, you know, because they come straight from the heart. And I'm starting to realize that more and more now. It's like, yeah, if you can write songs for people, like, it makes them feel like really good. At least that's what I think. And maybe I want to normalize that, making music as gifts. And like, there's some songs that I have that are like so personal, I never release them, or, you know, I just kind of keep them between me and someone else. And, you know, I think that's kind of cool. And this song, I was thinking I was going to do that too, but I think it's actually a pretty decent one. I think it's in one of the lyrics I say I'm going to show the world, so that means I have to release it. And plus, I think it's cool when an artist writes a song about his mother, his or her mother, or father, you know, for that matter. So this song isn't like, I think, what's that John Mayer song where, you know, it's kind of universal. This song is like just personal between me and my mom. Just like what she's done for me, and, you know, what other moms have. I'm sure other people can relate, because, you know, my mom was very caring. And kind of have to be when you when you're a mom. Right there with your silver bow. So like already right there, like, you know, it's immediately like between me and her. Like, that's kind of like insider. Oops. And the reason I'm using like Google Doc as opposed to like my WordPad or something, it's because I don't want misspellings. Unlike Melancholy Dream, I don't want misspellings here. So if anyone sees one, let me know. So something I'm starting to do with lyric writing is, you know, going through that format on that all the music stores do. Like, you can't put punctuation at the end of your sentences. You can't use dialogue boxes. Like, there's these new rules set on me, and I'm getting more creative about getting around them. Or not relying on that so much. And finding loopholes and stuff. So this song is going to be written that way. Vanquishing the darkness of my soul. Yeah, it's a poetry hour today. I think I've done this only one other time. Patching up the wounds. And what I have here is a rough draft. When I sing it, it sounds a little different. It left behind. See, in my rough draft, I have and never letting go. But when I sing it, I take a breath and just say never letting go. So, little things like that. Sometimes the singing will dictate a lyric, or vice versa. Because with you, kindness, let me put a comma. comes first. And in my rough draft, I have "and all wounds," but when I sing it, I just say "all wounds." Wounds are nursed. So we can think of this as like, this is rough draft, this is second draft, probably final draft. And I do end up typing all of my lyrics anyway, even for the composed songs, because helpful to submit your lyrics when you're releasing music, because more likely of a chance, like if someone hears your song randomly, like in public, they might not know the name of it because it's just streaming or something. So they're like, oh, I remember the lyric, and then they start Googling the lyrics, and then your song pops up. So that's why it's important to have good lyrics, and it's important to have your lyrics actually published. And that's what this is setting up for. Yeah, that's more insider stuff there. And here, the chorus starts pretty much right away. My mother likes simple music, so I am not trying to impress her with my music theory, you know? I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to just make a song that she would like. And dark times, and make it a message to her as well. We're always there. Patching up all of my holes. Yeah, all of my holes. Until I'm all fixed up. Making sure I'm happy. Making sure I'm safe. Sending angels to my rescue. And I do add an "and" here. And I thank you. Well, comma. I thank you for everything you've done. So I'm gonna title the document first part. It all looks pretty good so far. So then we get to verse 2, and there's two types of song I'm thinking of. Like, this will be eventually with everybody playing. So I'm gonna put in like some notes here. Piano lick, or piano lead. A lick is different than a lead. Maybe. I think a piano lead is a more appropriate name. So verse 2 starts and there's a piano lead in the beginning of it. But I'm not going to perform that because I'm just using guitar. I wasn't certain. Now I am. Yeah, now I am. Now I am that I'll be strong. I'll also be that loving boy you raised. Okay. I wonder, so I don't really know how to type in Spanish, so I'm gonna open a new tab and we're gonna see if we can get it. Oh, for now I'm just gonna type the Spanish. I think it'll be okay. I think I could do it. Alright, we'll try. So there is Spanish in the song. I've never sang in Spanish before. This is the first time. And, you know, it's kind of something my mom used to try to teach us when we were kids. But you know, we never learned because my dad didn't speak Spanish. So this is kind of like a surprise, you know, because I've been doing Duolingo, like, and I've been wondering, like, what is my goal with Duolingo? It's like, yeah, I can help like Spanish-speaking students when I teach, but you know, what else can I do with this language? And you know, I'm trying this out. I've one time tried to sing in Japanese. It was an absolute failure. I was in high school though. I was a little kid. But I was so into Japanese music that I gave it a try. Okay. Let me make sure I spelled all that right. Because I'm sure... it's actually like picking it up. I wonder if it has spell check for... And I'm going to make these different lines. Te hadre, te har. Feliz. So I could add, yeah. I want you to be proud. I want you to be happy. I believe that's what I say. I think even though I did Duolingo and stuff, like I still had to look up some of these words, like this one. Eres mi mamá y te amo. Yeah, and I think this is good. And then there's another chorus. So on DistroKid or the music stores, you actually have to like copy and paste your chorus. But here, we're not gonna do that. I don't want my mom holding like 5 pages. But yeah, so it's gonna say repeat chorus 1, and then chorus 2 is gonna begin. Okay, let me make sure like it's like this. I think this could be like 2 pages. Okay. It'd be nice if it was 1 though, so I might make the font smaller, like slightly. I'll make you proud, and I will make sure this world knows just how special you are. See, this is the part where I'm like, oh, I kind of have to release it. It's not. I kind of trapped myself because why would this line exist if it was just like a private song? Alright. So this line is kind of personal, and it is in Spanish. So thank you. See, that's cool. That means Spanish is a pretty good language to like type in if I want to get that far into Spanish. It would be cool to learn it. I mean, I'm trying to learn it. That's what matters, you know. I remember because you know, that's kind of always what kept me away from Mexican culture, is that between me and that culture is that Spanish barrier. That, you know, a lot of even Mexican Americans in the US are kind of going through, like the newer generations, the ones that didn't pick up Spanish, because you know, not everyone could pick up like 2 languages at once. And yeah, it's like one or the other. And I mean, when I was a kid, I already had trouble speaking. I don't know if I spelled this word. Oh, I guess I did. I spelled it right. So this is more Spanish. And then prometo. I gotta watch out not to say promento. Prometo. So we can't put the ... Prometto. There's 5 of them. Okay. Prometto. All right. Okay, so technically this is the composition stage, and that's kind of where the song is at now. I guess like right now it would be here at the practice stage because I'm about to perform it. And going through that performance and going through practicing the song will actually give me better ideas for tempo, like what tempo I try at different speeds, depending on how my voice sounds and all that. So all that goes into it. And when you're at this stage, it's not important to sound perfect. If you really want to compose, like get really deep into finding out who you are, you want to practice your song in different ways, so you can see which ones work, which ones are better. And that can get as detailed as like the tone, detailed as the tempo. You may want to change a chord somewhere. Maybe one chord sounds better somewhere else. Like it's little things like that. And with the lead sheet song, yeah, you want to practice your part. With the composition, everything's just, kind of at once. But with this, everything's kind of more disjointed. Okay, so if this were all to fit on one page, I'd want just this to be smaller. But I don't know if we're going to get that. Maybe this a little smaller. Almost. Maybe I take this like that. Or maybe just make this all like, here, I got an idea. Oops. Try not to have too many typos on this thing. And one of the other reasons I'm doing this is like, it's hard to buy gifts for my mom. Like, she doesn't, I don't know, it's just hard. Like, she's picky about the things she gets. And I don't like getting her something that she won't use, or like sometimes she really likes movies, so sometimes I buy her movies, but now she has like all the streaming stuff, so it's like I can't do that even. That was my go-to gift, and technology advanced. So we're gonna do some practice. I think I have to do one practice of this song. And I've experimented with it already quite a bit. So everything's pretty much set with it. But yeah, I do have to practice it. So I think I've done this maybe once. Sometimes I randomly perform for the stream, because that's what the next stage calls for, is practicing it. Try not to peek the mic. Okay. So I'm basically just going to run through it, see if there's any issues, see if there's any last minute words I want to change. It's all one page, so I might not stop. The chords are pretty easy, so I don't have to keep referring to it. And this is like one of the only songs I'm really practicing right now on guitar anyway, so my fingers should know it. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Alright. I think, yeah, so it has an intro. I'm thinking, should I write that there is an intro? Or should I not? I mean, I guess not. It doesn't really matter. I can kind of play around with this part if I want to. I'm the only one performing it. When chaos crushed me, you were there with your silver bow, vanquishing the darkness around my soul, patching up the wounds it left behind, never letting go, because with you kindness comes first, all wounds are nursed. Can milk this if I want to. In my cold and dark times, you were always there, patching up all of my holes, until I'm all fixed up, making sure I'm happy, making sure I'm safe, sending angels to my rescue. And I thank you, I thank you for everything you've done. And if I wasn't certain, now I am, that I'll be strong. I'll also be that loving boy you raised, terhar entre orgulloso, terhar feliz, eres mi mamá y te amo. In my cold and dark times, you were always there, patching up all of my holes, till I'm all fixed up, making sure I'm happy, making sure I'm safe, sending angels to my rescue. And I will make you proud, and I will make sure this world knows just how special you are. Mantendré mi sonrisa al sonreír a otros, prometo, prometo. Prometo, prometo. Okay, so I already can feel that there's some things I want to change. So one of the big things is when I was playing it, I always switched. I never used C major 7 here. So it was something I was going back and forth on. I think C fits the melody more on the chorus, but C major 7 works on the verse. So like little things like that. Also notice I end on a C major, which kind of messes with that, but that's okay. It's really fine. But yeah, this song, it's not much left I have to do with it. I just have to make a click track of me playing it and singing it, and then giving it to the guys, and that's how this song will be. I think I'm gonna call it Mom instead of Mother, because that's what I call my mom. I call her Mom. I never call my mom Mother. Mother sounds like eloquent, but this is what I call call her. So yeah, this is a gift that I'm making. It's something I never thought I would do, like ever. Like other than my wife, I've never really written songs for like people that I know, which is crazy. I've written like kind of sneakily, like the song is kind of about my mom, the song is kind of about, stuff like that, but never like direct. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should be more direct because I think cool stuff comes out of it. I almost said any questions, like I'm teaching. Y'all have any questions about what you just saw? Because, that is kind of like, that would be a cool goal. Like if people saw what I'm doing here and then realize, hey, this isn't as shrouded in perfection as I thought it was. Like, I think I could do this. This guy's doing it. I think I could do it too. And then you start composing and, share the knowledge, It's kind of what this is. In teaching, there's something called modeling, where it's like the teacher does it, so you know how it's done. Some teachers will like just explain things, but to actually show you the teacher actually doing it, and then the student does it. It's a good teaching technique. That's what all this is, because I can't really give you homework. But yeah, this is a good, like, if you're just barely getting into making your own music, this is the perfect way to start, is this kind of composition. Like if you want to be able to do the composition stage, lead sheet, and just like notation like this is a good place to start, especially if you want to write songs. If you want to write piano pieces, then yeah, you want to do the other side. But I think, like, honestly, every music student should write it, like have to write a song with words and like a song, But for some reason that's not the case. They kind of frown upon this style. Some of them like say this is not real music. You're not really composing. But it is, it's how like probably more than 90% of songs are composed today. Like they just do this and then they give it off to somebody who fills it in. Especially those songs that are written by dozens of people. Like it all starts probably with this, because the words are important, especially in pop music, and especially in this song, the words are really important. Like, yeah. I mean, I bet even like artists like Dave Matthews use some kind of format similar to this, rather than notating every note he does. Like, who cares? He's gonna do it. Alright, so I think we're good with this song. Close that window. And we have 2 other songs I gotta do today. But we'll take a little break so I could talk about what's around you. So if you're new to any of this, this is what I do. This is music composition stream, music production stream. It's like music creation stream. Like starting from nothing, making a song, recording it, publishing it. It's kind of that stage. This is like the cycle I use for making music, really. And it might grow. There might be stuff adding. Like this is just kind of an outline I'm making up as I go along. But everything starts at the rough draft, then composition, organization, which is what you just saw. You saw one type of composition. What I'm about to do is another type of composition. Practice, you saw that when I was practicing the song. Sometimes composition parts can be tough, especially if you're writing like without any limits, like you're not thinking about your technical limits like sometimes I do. Then you have to practice your part. And prepare for the recording. So that's when you record all the instruments, everything is put into sound file, then you master it and release. So that's the stages of music making. And the way I use this table is I picture it as like a conveyor belt. Like, songs are here, 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 then another song's over here, and it's just all going through this conveyor belt. So that's a good way to think of it too. If you're interested in like making uh, more than one song, you know, then yeah, that's the way to do it. So talk about some of this. We are, like I said, publishing's a part of it, you know, and so because of that, we're on stores. You know, you can actually stream this guy that you're watching. You could actually listen to his music because he releases it, you know. And that's the cool thing about this day and age. And this is what I stress to like other people that do music. I'm like, hey, if you practice guitar and you're making songs, like release them, you know, even if like nobody is watching or no one's listening. Like there's so much like music out there that's so inauthentic, and I'm like, you're authentic, you need to make music. You know, like it's important that music comes from someone's soul for for soulful meaning, not for like commercialism, you know. And it's not just the big companies doing the commercialism. It's sometimes, you know, any of us can be guilty of that, you know, writing a song so that it sounds good, so that people like it, you know. Like make it deeper. Like that's what I'm going by now. But yeah, we're like available. And maybe hopefully someday if any of y'all pick up instruments, y'all will let me know that hey, I'm releasing a song, and like yeah, cool. We need to let's talk about it. You know, I'll promote you. I'll pull up. Oh, I have a new ad over here. So after one day of testing, I ran through the Melancholy Dream myself, which I sometimes do just to kind of test, because it's kind of like a big video game, like all of it as a whole, and you kind of have to test if it works. So I've been doing that, and I made sure all cards were possible to collect, and they are. So, um, one card is like really hard to find. I'm thinking of adding like a clue to tell you where it is, but in Melancholy Dream, you can collect cards at the end of certain videos. There'll be a card that just shows up, and you click on it and you download it. And each one has like an ID number, so it's like easy to see like how many you have if you just put them all in the folder. Requires some effort to play. It's not like a casual um, low, what do you call it, attention span game. Like you actually have to be a little self-disciplined to play it, I guess would be the way. If I'm being nice, other people would say like that's the problem with it. You know. But I'm like, no, I kind of want it that way. I don't know why. Cuz I always like older retro games that actually did that, where they didn't hold your hand. So that's kind of what this goes for. Some weird shape waveform. Um, but yeah, all cards are collectible, are downloadable, they're digital, and you can find them in those music videos. I think there's like a secret card in the code, so not only is like the main prize the prize, but there's also like two little items that are just in there somewhere, and I don't know where they are. I think I tested it a long time ago, but I didn't like write down where they were, which I should have, but they're in there. I know they work. And of course, this is the latest song that we've finished that has popped through the conveyor belt, and it's Inner Cafe. I mixed it on stream, um, mastered it off stream, and released it. And I think it'd be cool. Maybe I think I've said that before, but someday we get a release stream. It could happen. Could happen. So this is Dysmorphia song. Last time I showed it, it was pretty complicated, but now I've kind of calmed it down because, like, it's a Endless Journal song one, and I don't think it calls for any crazy composition. So I think I'm almost done with this song. We're gonna find out today. The rough draft lyrics are still here because I'm not writing the vocal part. Like, I'm not composing it because my vocal parts always change last minute. Like, we had, I think, Exploder. Like that, I redid the vocals for that completely because I wasn't enjoying that melody. It was kind of like placement holder anyway. So made a whole new vocal part there. So I try not to tie down my vocal parts anymore. So because of that, the song, I have to kind of like leave space for a vocal part compositionally, which I am doing now. And I'm also like leaving it up to me to like, when I do practice this song, like I can change the voicings. Like I'm leaving it that open. And same thing with them. Like there's some parts, like as long as they get the vibe, they can add whatever all the time. So that's why like his drum part's like very like simple. And he might do that, you know, if he decides to. But like it's open for him to just add whatever. So it was getting crazy, but I kept it back to the same. I even like made another track for piano, which I might change. It might still be too complicated. Alright, so if you open a project that you're working on, then it's probably best to what do you call it? To get like refamiliarized with it. So that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, we might see this song be complete today, which would be cool. I don't think we've seen a completion. I'm gonna zoom it in so I can see these notes clear. And I'm gonna grab these lyrics. Okay, the sound's coming out, that's good. Change the voicing and the strings. Repeats for now. Always subject to change. Laughter there. Oh, I know what's happening with this song. Okay. And then there's a drum solo here. Also, while this is happening, he's doing whatever he wants on that drum set. The drum solo slows down. Whoa, that's kind of like similar to like my really old style that I was doing in like high school. It kind of reminded me of that progression. I guess like I wrote more weird music like this like in high school. Never produced a lot of them. Never got to that stage. I was like only composition stage. Some of them I did record, but like I didn't know how to release. Like there wasn't DistroKid back then, you know. There wasn't all these new ways to self-publish. So I just like stopped at a certain point. Okay, so we're gonna like label this song better because it's kind of like verse 2 bridge, and then I just stopped labeling because like I got really into the zone here, this last part, so I kind of left out that, so we're gonna add that now. So I think all of this could be considered a bridge until the drum solo. So we're gonna put a marker for the drum solo. Now what these markers do, it's just good organization. So when Chris is reading this, you know, he knows a verse is coming and he can play along with it. He can do, you know, he can do anything to practice it, really. But what they end up doing is waiting for me to record everything and then practicing to that, which is better, you know. But if they want to get a jump, like, they can do that too. But I don't think they will need to on this song because it's not that hard for either of them. And I think right here, Chris will be able to do whatever he wants to. But it'll be like depending on the drum solo. And I'm just going to tell him like add some like really light like bass fills or something. Because I'm just going to leave this completely blank for him. And like when you compare this to the other song I was writing, Endless Journal, like I really mapped out like what everyone did and like what how loud every instrument was, you know, it's very detailed. Whereas this, you know, quarter notes, and look at that voicing, like it's like baby voicing, you know. It's leaving it up to the performer. Even myself, I'm leaving it up to myself when I get on the keyboard, because I feel like for this song, I'm going to make a better voicing just there in the moment than coming up with it now and like going back and forth, you know, because I don't have the real sound in front of me. I have this MIDI sound. So yeah, I'm saving all that for tone, because this song is going to be, it's kind of like a blend where the lyrics matter, but there's also quite a bit of composition going on. So it's like lead sheet there and composition here. But yeah, that's how it goes. So this is a drum solo, and over here we have the chorus back. This is kind of like a pre-chorus. Okay. Okay. And then here, I have a chorus, like the final chorus. Okay. So I think the ending's fine. I think it needs to end like that. Oh yeah. Can anyone guess what this drum solo is inspired by? Yeah. Who can guess? Because like everything you do as a musician is like tied to like your influences. I wish that wasn't true because I like being unique. But man, it is true, even if you don't try. Okay. Alright. But yeah, I'll tell you the answer if you can guess it. Can I put in my own chat? I think I can. Oh yeah, that's the question of the day. What is drum solo inspired by? Who can answer that question? Because it's definitely tied, and I noticed it after. I'm like, oh, this drum solo is, that's what I know exactly where like how I decided to come up with it. And the song has a lot of that going on. It kind of gets into the really, really unspoken things about music, where there's something called, I don't know if it's called that anymore, but there was something I read about called the echo effect, where and you've probably seen it on like TikTok and stuff, where songs will have the same melody, slightly different chords, sometimes even the same chords, completely different eras. Neither of them knew each other. I think there's one between, like, there's proof that this is a phenomenon and they're not just ripping each other off. Sometimes they do. Like, a lot of people ripped off Smells Like Teen Spirit on purpose because it was so popular. But sometimes, like, you'll get two artists that release the same single at the same time, and they sound very similar, and people are like, okay, who ripped off who? But it's like they both heard the same melody in their head. And that's terrifying to me for some reason, because it's like kind of, especially when it's released close. I think there was one with Blue October and I think Green Day, like, where it was proof. And this was kind of like my own research. That's how far I got into, like, I was planning to make videos about all this. But like, they were working on same song. It was like, I think, released a month apart, and like they sounded very similar. The choruses, almost the same energy too, different words, but, and like the melody changed later, but the main focus of that melody was the same. And I think after I wrote the main melody to this one, and because the song's been sitting on the shelf for like, I think, a year. Like, before I started it, it was just like first chorus, and then I stopped because I heard this melody somewhere else. And I'm like, and it was a lot slower, and it was calming, and it was in a store. And I was trying to decipher the lyrics so I could look up the song. And I couldn't figure out what the lyrics were. But I know someone out there heard this melody too. And I'm like, who are you? So because of that, I decided to release it, so someone could be like, hey, it sounds a little too much like such and such. I'm like, oh, there it is. That's the melody. We both heard it. And, in my head, like, that's what it'll be. Whereas other people was like, oh yeah, he totally ripped it off. But That's why I'm reviving the song. And to even push it that much further, when the chorus comes back over here after the drum solo, it talks about like like this part lyrically says, I feel I've heard this melody before. Who else is like, it talks about it. It talks about the phenomenon here, which is cool. That's why I'm gonna put it out there, really. And you know, if there's like no way to, like, if someone, you know, if there is something troublesome, I'll take it down or whatever. But I deserve to put it up there to see what happens, you know, to talk about this kind of thing. I notice now most people, like, when two melodies sound the same, like, everyone's kind of aware of, like, well, there's only so many notes, or only so many ways a melody can go. And, you know, it's true. Especially, like, melody. Like, when it gets, like, if my song has a drum solo and their song also has a drum solo, and we both don't know, then that's even more insane. But, you know, theirs probably doesn't. It's probably like designed for radio and, you know, kind of just that cool vibe. Well, mine has like instrument showcase. Not one is not better than the other, but like it's totally different. So for them to have the same as that would be cool, like even crazier. But yeah, so the next step with this song is pretty much done compositionally, I think. Yeah. So what we do after that is pretty interesting, and I think I'll do it now. And it's using the same file. So I insert some measures, and I insert a few more. And there are probably better ways to do this, but this just kind of works for us. I actually give it a new track. So I'm gonna add something called the click. And it needs to be a percussion track, not track, instrument track, percussion track. So right here, this percussion track is the click track. So there's ways to tempo map on like DAWs, but I don't know. I just like, because I program like the fake instruments on here too. And because of that, it's just better, I guess, for me to keep it on Guitar Pro. And plus, like, the other instruments will be playing. So, like, if I record my keyboard part first, I have other instruments, like, sounding. And, you know, kind of add energy, like, remind me, like, oh, yeah, play louder here, you know, stuff like that. So people have their own ways of doing it. So there's no right way or wrong way. So I like to put forward, because like sometimes because it goes into MIDI and I have to make it a wave. So what happens, it's like the MIDI converter like freaks out in the first measure. And then I put some space, and then I put 2 measures of count in. And I make a lot of different click tracks based off of this too. Like, what I'll probably do first is give it to Anthony once I'm done, because this is a endless journal song, so it can be done pretty quickly. He can probably just read it a few days and be able to record it. Maybe not even. I feel like there's some times like he's come in and read it for the first time. Or like, because I feel like he did one song like really quick, because it's very simple, and sometimes like where to add stuff for him just comes naturally. He doesn't need to take too much time with it. Problem is that like when he has to replay like exactly the same, if we do a video, then yeah, it's kind of hard to remember because it just all went by so quickly. And that happens with me too on some songs. Like I don't think I could play Hatman right now. Like that recording so fast, so quick, whereas Exploder took some time. That's just kind of how it goes, depending on your level. Yeah, and every Saturday we all like today, me and Chris met up and we filmed stuff. Like, it's just kind of what we do, you know, to bond and hang out, you know. And it's like kind of cool that that's our thing, because there's not many people willing to do stuff like that. So that's why I always feel like lucky to know people willing to put up with my stuff. And you know, I try to you know, I'm not like a tyrant, you know. Like I want songs to have their imprint on them. Like that's why this drum solo is blank and this part's so open. But yeah, there's some people who like kick out drummers for no reason. I don't like the way he plays. Like when people make bands, it's like they're like children, really. And me and Anthony have so many stories about that. It's like maybe one day we all do like a Zoom call. And we all just talk while I compose music. That'd be kind of cool. Okay. What's going on? Okay, so here... Does it change right away? Yeah, it does. That's kind of cool. So here is something I'm debating. I don't think I'm going to keep it. I think I want to do the key change. Because I think the melody is going to probably end up changing a little bit in the chorus. So the key change will actually be kind of cool. Like it's a key change, but the melody is also different. Which is cool because it's right after the talk about are we doing the same notes, you know? And then the key changes really quickly, like to Runaway. Pretty neat. But yeah, this song has a story too. It's about like losing yourself, really. And here, like I really want just a lot of chaos on this song, which I think a lot of chaos without like technability, or I guess from like everyone. I think a drum solo is good. I don't know what he's gonna do here, but I'll respect whatever he does. Because like no matter what, like the solo with these strings is gonna be like pretty cool. And every time when I give him something like, okay, write your drum part on this song, and then he records it, I'm like, that's totally different than what I would have done. Like it's totally different. It's crazy. He thinks like the opposite side. But like some drummers will look at that and be like, what are you thinking? You know, thinking they're right. But I'm like, that's totally different from what I would have done. Let's do it. You know, it's that kind of attitude. Because like, man, musicians can be very egotistical. And sometimes that's where that clash happens that shouldn't happen, but because we're all obsessed with perfection, some things like that happen, unfortunately, and I think it's a shame, really. Why is a... okay, this one happens. So, I noticed the strings trade off with the piano a lot. I think that's going to be fine. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this is a live song, you know. Like this is where I would switch. Here, like it's just like perfect. Like if we ever did it live, it's doable pretty easily, with just the three of us. There's no special instrument. There's no like special guest. There's no extra drum. Just everything us three. But yeah, I could easily like switch between pad and I guess they're together here, but there's still a way I could do that with just myself, which is pretty neat. Yeah, you can get pretty creative with the MO8. Okay, so that leaves us. Something interesting happened with the song. So when I wrote it like lead sheet, rough draft, because I didn't know if I was gonna compose it or if we were just gonna record parts. But I saw it was getting crazy, and I'm like, oh, I have to compose this. There's more. The bridge is bigger in the composition version than the lead sheet, so that means I have to write more lyrics later. So that's where Dysmorphia is now. So it's still in the composition phase, but technically I can start recording it if I want to, or practice it, because that's where it's actually in the practicing phase. Because I want to play through it. I want to get the click tracks made. I want to play with the click tracks, get my tone in, make sure to practice like that before I record it. I'm trying to think if there's some songs I went in blind. I think Corona Queen I went in blind. Like I just jumped to the piano. And man, that came out like it just came out. It's crazy. I like when that happens. Like less effort. I'm like, I feel like it's just gonna come out, and it came out. That can happen. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm just exporting it, making sure everything's organized. My project folders are all like labeled, because that's what you want to do. Okay. What's that smell? Okay. Alright, so it's one click. With all instruments. Have you ever considered making a Discord server? No. Maybe I'll think about it. That'd be cool. I didn't really grow up with internet. So, but I think we've done stuff on Discord before. But like it was just us three. If I could figure it out, I'll definitely do that. It smells funny in here. I'm kind of curious what they're up to. Okay. So what I just did while all that was happening, I don't know what you can see and what you can't, but I'm sure you saw two people come in. I was making a click track that had all the instruments, so now I'm going to make a click track that doesn't have the piano and the strings, but has everything else. So it has Anthony's part and Chris's part, ideally. And I'm saving that. So that's the thing I'm going to practice with. With MIDI, drums, and bass. So, to be like ready, I guess like not to be a good or a good musician, but to be like ready to do this stuff, like you have to know how to practice good, because that'll like help with so much. What is this? Let's delete it. But yeah, you want to know how to practice, and I wish there was like this one trick that I wish was taught to me by a teacher, but it kind of wasn't. They kind of mentioned the metronome. You know, that thing musicians have been using since like how long? Jeez. But the metronome like really, really makes you a better musician. Like I'll hand it to the metronome. Like that thing works. So what works better than even a metronome is a click track of the song that you're getting ready to record. So because of that, I practice with this. And you know, I can change any of these voicings. I'll probably will change all of them maybe. Maybe I won't. You know, maybe it'll sound good on the type of keyboard I'm thinking of using. The tone, the piano tone I'm probably going to use. As for the synth, I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet, but something slow. So that's a whole other process when I'm practicing in the practice phase. Like you want to know what voices you're going to use, what tone you're going to use, more than just like, oh, there's a piano part, I'm going to hit piano and play it. Like it's more than that. You got to make sure the part sounds like you know what you're doing too. And once dysmorphia gets past that stage, onto recording. So that is dysmorphia. So those click tracks will be ready to be practiced with. Okay. So I don't know what happened to my other capture. Let me see. Oh, that's not it. So what we're going to do now, if I can get it up, let me see. I think something happened. Reaper is always lame when it comes to, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's done. I might need to update it or something. It's like not wanting to be captured. Okay. Oh, okay. See, I didn't even tell it to do that. It just did it. Reaper's so weird. So first off, we're gonna make sure we can hear things because Reaper likes to play that game too. I'm gonna turn my volume down.
Battles, they persist.
Okay, it looks like it's coming out for y'all. So this is the Legend of Hatman. Part of the Legend songs of Dreamcrack. That makes no sense right now, but that's like how we're gonna release it. Dreamcrack is our next big album, but we're gonna release it on YouTube in 2 phases, and then after YouTube, we're gonna release it on music streaming sites. That's our new advertisement strategy. It's not much of a strategy, but it's cool. It's, you know, it's like a movie. But what I did before this stream was I organized all this stuff. It was really messy. I think that's the thing. I think I might end up re-recording some of these vocals because I did something wrong when I recorded. I didn't use this thing. Sometimes you can hear that, sometimes it's not a problem, but I think I want to do like 2 takes in the vocals. Unfortunately, what that means is we can't really start mixing this without the right vocals because, you know, just getting this volume exactly the same is going to be different. But what I'm going to do is just make sure it's ready to be mixed once, and make sure like it's going to be easy to do that. Like I won't have to do much mixing after, you know. I just want to make sure the song doesn't get messed up, I guess.
In the realm of sleep there they exist. The ones they call shadow people. The faceless
So it's pretty quiet
shadows, they
already.
persist on watching all our dreams. The shadow people have no name, no no identity, they all seem the same.
Chris is peeking.
In fact, it is a crime for them to break conformity.
So this is something new I'm doing. I guess I'll share that with you all. You hear one guitar part, but you see 3 tracks. So that's something Chris has always talked to me about, but my stupid perfection got in the way of actually listening. I was like, yeah, record your part and then like kind of play how they all sound like at once, like mixing. And yeah, I'm kind of doing that now because I'm starting to read more about it. I'm starting to see it more. So what I did is I put them all on the exact same pan. I think they're slightly off, pretty close. And that's to sound like one guitarist, really. And if you play consistently, you'll get like the goal of it. So that's what you hear
Realm
there.
of sleep, there they exist. For them to break conformity.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make this. I think like this is the thing with this song. Piano is very different on this tune because I want the listener to know like Hatman is playing the piano. So, and this is like the first Legend song, so I have to like might do this with the other songs too. So we're gonna make the pan. This is like when it goes from left ear to right ear, so it's gonna be kind of trippy. Start all the way left. You just kind of go around your head. So we're gonna get like really, really meticulous with this because I want to try new things. This is stuff I used to do when I was like barely starting. I get these like weird ideas and just go crazy with the panning. And you know, Duran Gray does this too. This kind of thing. They really mess with the panning. It's the art. Oh, it's right here. So we want to get this closer, like here. Yeah, because we want that ring still. And then right here, it goes back up. Yeah, so we're messing with panning. This is like purely creative, not something like you'll see in an audiobook, like a book about audio engineering or anything. Completely artistic choice. Yeah, that's what I want. And I might not make this as extreme later, but for now, I want to hear how it sounds extreme. Yeah, and then here. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe a little bit. Because I want him to like, he's going one way and then he just appears like in another way. And that's what he's kind of doing here. Like audio wise. See, like now he's over there. So he's like kind of going all around you because Hatman is a spirit, you know. He's a legitimate, what do you call it? Cryptid. Yeah. If you've heard of Hatman, it's like Bigfoot. You know, there's been accounts of people encountering Hatman. And that's kind of what inspired the song. I think I was watching like a podcast, Mega Strange or something, and they talked about Hatman, and I'm like, that's kind of the character I'm making in Melancholy Dream, you know. And I've heard of Hatman before that, but like I hadn't heard that much of it in detail. Even like the Wikipedia page is like, you know, barely, not much compared to what was covered in that podcast. So it was pretty cool. So I went ahead and like did it. And this will be a completely different ear. But basically, like if you wake up in the middle of the night and like stare in the darkness and see a shadow with a hat, then that's Hatman, you know. And I'm like, it's the perfect cryptid for this story I'm trying to tell, because, you know, it's all about dreaming and, you know, dream crag, melancholy dream. Like, it's about that. We're gonna lower this. Then he meets you here, like right in the center. And you know, there might even be something like video-wise, like here, that kind of illustrates this. So I think it needs to go like all the way down before coming back up. Let me see. I don't know if you can hear any of the panning I just did. Who knows? That sounds cool though. It's like bouncing around different gears. So everything has been recorded, including the tribe here. So we got Buon, the Yellow River Ninja, the forest sound effect, tambourine player, which I have to do this to, because there's some hacking in the beginning, and second tambourine here. So I think all of this needs to be panned. Yeah. Okay, so let's do some panning. Speaking of panning, we want the tambourine where Tewa is. So she's gonna be kind of close to there, not exactly there. And what's cool is like you see this tribe in the videos, and the order that they're in, like visually, is how you hear them, audio wise. So like in the video you'll see like Tewa to the left. That's what I was thinking, like we add another drummer all the way to the right or something, like you can't see him. We might. It's still can happen. But there's two Tewas. But yeah, tamborine's kind of next to him, and Thabo is kind of like, he's like the marimba player. He's like more to the right, which sometimes Thabo, like the marimba, he gets like really big leads, and when that happens, he's more towards the center. You know, just for like audio purposes. But for this song, he's probably gonna be all the way there, and so what's probably gonna happen, and I think this happened on Dreams too. Like I slowly push him towards the center when he has main melody. So he's over there doing that. Something happened here. I want to hear it. Oh yeah, there's a miss hit there. That's why I used tick one instead. So I'm like, what happened there? There's a mistake there. Also use different guitars to, because I think there's finger and pick. So I don't know what's what. I'm guessing that's pick. And also like with some chords, like when you transition chords, you hear like a squeak, especially if it's a bar chord. Sometimes I just use like 2 tracks to get rid of that sound, make it like less annoying to deal with. So it's like, yeah, I could do the transitions, but when we do mastering, you're really gonna hear that. It's kind of like the breathing thing in vocals. Like you're singing and you're taking small breaths that your voice teacher taught you, but then you hear those small breaths in the mastering because like it's bringing that out, like it's looking for any sound and making that louder. So that quiet breath that you learned was not helpful in that situation, unless you're like silent breath, which is, it can be done, I believe so. But guitar, like, it's also recording acoustically, so there's a lot of background noise. So what I'm doing is like letting that go when it's silent. So I want to cut it. It'll also lower the feedback too, so just the sound of the room, which mastering really loves to pick up. So like, even though there's no sound here, the mastering will look for like the sound of the room, like the AC or, you know, whatever it can find, and bring that out. So if we do this, we don't let the mastering do that. This is like planning ahead, I guess. That's what I'm doing right here. And what I'm doing here is something we talked about like doing with drums. But what I found is that, like, depending on how much bleed through the drum mics have, like, it's sometimes not the best thing, because you're gonna hear all these like different feedbacks and just like empty sounds. But we have better mics now, so if there's any song to try that to, it would be this song. And yeah, that's kind of what we do. We hear, like, you know, we watch YouTube of people doing audio work on drums and guitars. I think I watched one on marimba not too long ago, and we apply those techniques the best we can. You know, admit we know nothing sometimes is the best way. Also admit the person you're watching is figuring it out too, and build off of what he does, you know. Or you can just follow what he does to a T, which sometimes I do. I think I did that with cello. Like, I'm like, I really don't know this instrument, so this guy knows it better than I do. Okay, so that should help with guitar. There's some stuff there and there. Okay. Yeah, me and Chris were like just talking about how we used to play, because we've been doing this since we were, I think I started in middle school and he started in like high school. Like, we actually were able to create songs, you know, at that age.
A smile.
And you know, it's not a easy hobby, I guess, like when you're that age, because everyone's telling you to stop. You know, because when you're starting out, you're not good. Like, you're not gonna impress anyone right away. Like, you have to work at it. So like, yeah, that's kind of like the first test of a musician. Like, can you handle the heat that people are gonna throw at you? Even when you're more proficient, there's gonna be people who just throw tomatoes. And, you know, that's okay. That's not what music is really about. Um, at the heart of it all, it's about doing what you want to do with it as an art. What does it mean to you? What do you want to do with it? What does your song mean? Like, that's what it's really about. It's not about like who's the best, you know, who's the best drummer, who's the best harmonica player. That's that perfection I've been talking all day about. Okay. So yeah, I mean, like when me and Chris were in high school, we would jam with this guitarist, and like he, and I think like we're gonna do another song with him actually, like first time in a long time. But he was so wild, you know. It was like you did not know what was coming next whenever you jammed with him. And the cool thing about it is that like me and Chris speculate, man, we can't figure out what he's gonna do next. Does he know what he's gonna do next? And I think he was like, no. Like, oh. And it's like this weird chemistry between the three of us. It's cool. And you know, I was a high school kid, you know, everyone breaking my heart, and I was on drums at the time. So I would wail like the drums like crazy. Playing drums purely based on emotion. Drum parts were like very explosive. That's how that group was. We had a MySpace back in the day. We did little interviews. I think we recorded 3 songs together. It was pretty neat, you know, stuff silly kids would do. That era, you know, nothing better to do. And I remember I'm like, I enjoy this better than like marching band. Like, this is what music really is, or really should be. Like marching band, we're just getting yelled at. Whereas this is like, oh yeah, that's us. That's what it is. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it truly is. Okay, so that's a lot of guitar parts going around here. So obviously this is finger picking. Looks like interesting. So there's one take playing one set of chords, and another take playing another, and I'm mishing them together. So I could put this down here. Oh, I have like little names here. It says pluck. So yeah, these are all fingers. Oh, that's kind of what I did. So like on this part, yeah, there's a pluck track and a pick track. So yeah, I think I like the sound it's giving off. So I think it's fine. It gives the guitar more volume. Look at that, it's like a 12 string. Not really. Yeah, like I actually like that sound. Like, it sounds pretty good. I don't have to add any reverb. I could probably do some EQ to it, but like it's taking care of a lot of things, like meticulous things I normally do. And then yeah, I want to move this guitar over here, so I'm making sure they're all panned the same so you can really get that mixing. There's other techniques where you actually put them on different ears. I'll see what that sounds like too. I know people do that with 2 different guitar parts, playing 2 different parts, but the same part, I don't know. I used to never understand that when I was younger. It's like, why are they playing the same part? Oh, that took a decade to find out. Yeah, I remember, I think it was Flyleaf. I'm like looking at the 2 guitars, I'm like, they're playing the exact same part. And it was for tone. It was for, they wanted a particular sound. That's how they got it. You have to respect that, man. It's like, yeah, you're sacrificing composition, but you know, the song is like alt rock. You want big chords. You got big chords. And you know, there's probably like subtle differences too that they did. Okay, getting rid of more of the silence here. Might actually keep this going. So he's gonna dictate a lot here. I think he rings the longest. Or Anthony's like symbol that he hit. So yeah, just doing the meticulous stuff today, so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, and I mean, it can get meticulous, actually. It can. That's another thing, another test that this whole thing is, it's meticulous. But like, sometimes when I'm doing this kind of thing, you know, you can put on some music. Ironically, you can put on some music while you do this kind of thing, or listen to some kind of podcast. But when you get into high gear, like, yeah, you can't do any of that. But yeah, so just so you know, there's that part of it too, you know. It's like what some people will will farm on a video game, I guess. That's what they call it. Like when you just level up. And it's kind of similar to that, like with the project. Like, yeah, some parts. So it looks like the piano is going to keep coming out. So we're going to get back to panning now, the creative side of it. I'm not sure if I want it to pan here, but we will see what it looks like. Yeah, I don't know, because it's louder here. But I think I want it more on one ear than another. And then it's like still moving, but not as much. Then we'll like pan it over here, just to there. So not all the way to the right, but not all the way to the middle either. And then we'll make it go up here. It's just like a little journey. Yeah, the guitar sounds really good. Or for now, it sounds good. Who knows how it'll sound later. All in reference. So I'm going to make it start low now. Then slowly go high. And this isn't volume. This is still panning. So right or left ear all slowly to the right. This part's kind of long. So it's probably going to meet in the middle again. I think that'd be cool, and I'll probably do it quickly if I'm doing it right. I am the Hatman. Okay. So one thing that kind of worries me about this song is the piano is very dark. But at the same time, that's kind of the cool thing about it. Like, it's the cool thing about it at the same time. It's also like risky to be doing this kind of panning thing with it. But it makes it sound a little more mystical, I think. He smiles, he winks, he nods. He says, I am Hatman. I'm gonna put two things here. I want to get really into this one. So this section here, cause like I was listening to it, I'm like imagining the panning in my head as I'm listening listening to it in the car or something. Like, oh, panning might be cool here.
He smiles, he winks, he nods. He says, I am Hatman. I'm here to save the world, for I am Hatman.
So I was having trouble hearing this part, like in the car, but now I hear it pretty clearly. So I wonder if the mastering, well, it wasn't mastered, so who knows what it'll do. This all might be in the middle. Okay. Alright, so let's get into the meticulous here. So this part. So this might not work, but we'll see. That's why we do things. Yeah. Let me see. It's almost like it's falling down. I think that's the effect of it. I think I even want to start like this part all the way on the right. So it's like going up and then falling. I'm here to save the world, for I am Hatman. Okay, so that's kind of where this one's at. I think I decided before I do like any volume stuff, because there's all peaking over here. I have to re-record those vocals before I do that. But yeah, that's where the song is. It's slowly getting, like, if I wanted to make the video to it, I could just make a rough draft and do that. And if I finish the other videos, get finished in time. But this one has some time, before it gets to that point. So it's like no big rush for this song. But I have been holding off on recording these vocals for like a while now. So I'll probably get them done this week or something. Okay. No one answered what the drum solo was inspired by. You can't guess. I guess it's kind of hard to guess, because like answer choices are like infinite. But who else does drum solos while there's a emotional string section playing behind them? I feel like there's only one drummer who would do something like that. Yeah, it's not too worried about the piano silence. Okay, that one's good. So there's a little bit of time left. I want to see if how the other song is, or where it's at right now. So let me do that. So Hatman is still in the recording phase, trying to get to the production phase. That's where Hatman lies. There hopefully will be a new song coming, like not too far. Dissociate will be released. They're recording, and I feel like it's not gonna take that long to mix it. Like, probably take 20 minutes. Like, some songs really don't take that long. They don't take that much tinkering at all. I think Inner Cafe was kind of like that. Kind of. Like, it took just like one session. But I need to check on the Endless Journal itself. So this is the song. In the composition phase, Conveyor Belt is the Endless Journal title track. The Endless Journal is something new. It's kind of a new way of thinking about releasing music. It's something endless, and they'll be released as EPs in music stores. And on YouTube, they're just like kind of our continuous music. So like when we were doing Melancholy Dream, we kept releasing songs. They were either covers or just like original songs. And we would just keep releasing them while we worked on Melancholy Dream. And that's probably what's going to happen with Dream Crack, I'm thinking. Or like even if we finish Dream Crack and there's another big project we want to work on, Endless Journal will keep up like the content on this channel, because it kind of stopped after Melancholy Dream, because it's like, oh, okay, how do we go back to doing that? And this is how we do it. And this is the title track. So Endless Journal, unlike everything else, is not going to be released in order, but if you line up the page numbers, you'll get to see how it is in order, and it's like a big story. I think with this one I left off on the trombone solo. And yeah, so we're going to see where we're at. We're going to take a listen to it and then get to work on it a little bit. So far that works. Finish the chord. Cool. Alright, so like if you can tell like the difference between the song and some of the ones before. Song is way more complicated. It's chaotic. It's a spiral really. And that's its design, like that's its intention, you know. Like you could argue, yeah, that chorus would sound better without this crazy stuff, but it's about the crazy stuff. And then it all kind of comes down here with the trombone solo. So I want to keep like the calmness going. I'm not gonna make him shred on the trombone. And I think I have to write it too. I mean, I could make him make it up, but I think like he wants me to write it because you know, he's done marching band and stuff. So like that's kind of like what he likes to do, just read music and play it, which is cool. Like that's perfectly fine. So let's see. So I'm just gonna listen to all of this and see if I hear anything. Yeah, so the melody is gonna just drive everything. Okay, and it's a slow melody, so makes it easy for the player, but also keeps like a fast change from all this problem. Slow solos are pretty tough to write. Slow leads. So you gotta get like yeah. So slower notes than that. It's kind of too obvious. I want a little. Maybe half note melody. Let's see. Enough of that. There you go. Sometimes Guitar Pro gets stuck. These keys are so small. Okay. I think he can do grace notes. I haven't written a trombone part since college. Especially to be played by a real trombone. I think that's annoying about Guitar Pro is like the notes coming out and the notes on the page are totally different, so it messes up with like, okay, where's the range of this instrument? And what I think I'll do is I'll write whatever I want first and then dump it in MuseScore where like it'll tell me like, hey, this note's hard for a trombone to play, or this note a trombone can't play. Like, what are you thinking? But for now I'm writing like whatever I want. Let's see. That's the same note, but it has a grace note. And he's gonna slide down to that note because trombones can slide. Yeah. Trombones can slide. Trombones are pretty cool. I was watching this one dude, he played like 3 notes at once. I was like, what? You can do that? Can he hold his breath that long? Let's see. I mean, if he wants, he can like let go of these notes. They don't have to be legato. I mean, in MuseScore, I'm gonna make it like all the stuff he's used to sing. He'll see. I think there might be piano coming in here, to kind of like shape the mood. Oh, it's just a quarter rest. But dotted and an eighth, that might be good. Let's see, where do I want the piano to come in? Maybe here. So he's hitting a G. I have many options. I could really mess everything up into a C major. Let's see. So, because the original key is what? G minor? Oh, C minor. Oh, so that really messes things up. Oh, let's do it. Let's do jazz. So this is a what? I forget what I call this. C. What's it? Major ninth? I think. Dominant ninth. G dominant ninth. I think. I forgot. I think that's the term. So this part's gonna be cool. I mean, trombone is a jazzy instrument. Let's give it that, you know. Da 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 da. Maybe do a little comping. This heavy metal song turns into a jazz song. What are you doing, Josh? That's funny. That's so funny. Maybe he can start doing, because his part kind of sounds jazzy over right here. I don't know if I want that voicing though. Do I have two hands? I do. Okay. Just checking if I had two hands. Bum 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 bum. It has to be like a left hand pattern first. Bum 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 bum. Cause I forgot this one's like detailed. So we want. Da 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 ba ba ba. Let's see. Dotted eighth. Yeah. Is that gonna do it? There it is. That's the rhythm I want. This will be quiet. We got. I don't know if I want that low. Maybe omit a note. Omit the B flat. That way it gives the trombone more room, because the trombone's playing here. So we don't want to like totally take his notes. And keeping it quiet will also keep him out of the way. Funny enough. But I do want this middle C here. Boom. Ooh, there we want. This is what's gonna make the dominant ninth. Filling this last part out. Any note? I think the note missing is E flat. So maybe we want to put E flat in the left hand. Yeah, that works. Maybe mezzo forte. Yeah, now it's totally that song. Ooh. Am I getting crossing? Wait, what is happening? What rhythm did I accidentally write? That's kind of cool. Some sounds kind of off though. Yeah, let's make it hard for me. Why not? Yeah. Okay. So we just wrote like something really weird. But I like that better than what was in my head. Maybe I'll even add an eighth note here. Da da bum. So again. Yeah. And then a quarter note here. So like every other two, it's an eighth. Or yeah, every other two, it's a quarter. Every two, it's an eighth. It's like it's alive. I could do some bass stuff coming in here too. Or maybe bass is gonna come in here. I think we're all gonna like slowly come in here. And while the trombone solo is just like taking off. Which is kind of similar to an old song I wrote that this trombone player actually liked. Which is weird. Am I trying to make him like? I don't know if he will like. That song he liked though was very chaotic too. Like it was moving everywhere. There was even like phone recordings in there, which is something I've done a lot apparently. All right. And he's gonna make these notes sound more graceful than this program. Da, 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 da. He's gonna do a triplet. I guess it's Spanish now. Da, 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 da. Oh, forgot to make them triplets. I don't know if they're quarter note triplets either. Da, 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 da. Maybe one more. Yeah. Oh, what did I just do? Okay, there we go. Hit Control Z. I meant Control X. Right here. Take off the triplet. Boom. So we got this. Cool. What I want to do with bass is kind of like complement the trombone, because they're both like low instruments. So bass guitar will definitely do that. Okay. You know what this is imitating? Or not imitating, but I know where this is like coming from. When I was a kid, I used to listen to, there's this video game called like Spider-Man and the X-Men. And like the first level had like one of the best songs I've ever heard. I still think like it's like super good. And I would always listen to it when I would run, and I would imagine me with a band playing it. This kind of reminds me, because it kind of does like this hi-hat thing too. But I think it's like it's not a trombone solo. It's, you know, some other cool instrumental thing. I always thought it was cool. And here it is. It's like making that kid's dream come true, you know. When I was that age, I had no idea how to make something like that. Here I am. That's what it's all about now, I guess. Boom. I bet we all hear the next chord. It's like, where do you hear that going next? I wonder if it matches up with me. Boom. Yeah. I don't know what E flat chord, but it's some E flat chord. So now we have to figure out what we hear. I have a student that says like music is a guessing game. They're not wrong. I think we want. Let's see. Maybe I don't hear D. What do I hear then? Do I hear it? I said maybe I don't hear a D, but I'm thinking that's what I hear. Could it be a G minor inverted chord that I hear? Ooh, G minor to D major. That's so evil. It's like starting to sound like jazzy and happy, and then here it's like something's up. Something is. I wonder what it could be. Okay, what note am I making? Oh, I need another 2/8 notes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we hit both those Ds. This goes up all the way over there. So this has to go higher. It's gonna be really weird to play. But it must be hand played, you know. I might make the rhythm the same here. Let's see. Ooh. See, and then I go against it. What happens if I do this? Oops. Oh, you know what? Let's see what happens. It's probably not going to be good here. I don't think that's possible. Yeah, because I hit this D. I can't be hitting it. Let's see. How about a G? And yeah, this experiment was fun, but I think it didn't pay off. Sometimes that happens. I think it's weird when I hear like Latin rhythms in my head, because like I don't know how to write them well. Da 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 da. I think it's a quarter note, and then da da, and then into the next measure. Oh. Dotted quarter note. Okay. Half note. Let's see. Have to insert something. Let's see. Oh, here's the puzzle. What is that coming in on? So we're trying to get to land on 3. So 1. It's not just a quarter. 16th. There it is. There it is. 16th arrest. And quarter note here. Yeah. We want a quarter note actually here. So not everything's gonna be that simple. And I already know the next chord, it's a D major. I think I want the same rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Because they're both leading with D. Ooh, what if I do that? Hold your applause. I might just do that with. I'll add the A. I don't know if I like the augmented thing here. I've used enough augmented chords these days. Yeah, we'll probably make the drums get more exciting here. Maybe a bass trombone trade-off. Because in this song it will show us playing these parts. So, because I think it's good to make the first and the sternal as something bigger, you know, big. All right. I think you could actually repeat this part. Let's see how that sounds. Never underestimate the power of repeats. Even if it's exactly the same thing. Maybe a little different here. I think that sounds pretty cool. Ooh, I hear another note. Maybe a rest here so you know he can breathe. I hope he can hit this B flat. No. Can he? Ooh, that'd be kind of hard. Yeah, there we go. Let me hear this. Good. So that's a good start for this trombone section here. Um, so this is the bridge of the song, and Endless Journal title track will be like probably the most complex one for a while. And that's how Endless Journal will work. Like there'll be like a big song and then a bunch of like little songs and then a big song. And by big song I mean like more technical, harder to pull off, and then two simple popish songs, because you know we have many different sides to us. But that is the composition phase. We're here a lot on stream in composition of the conveyor belt, different songs going by. Um, so you saw one, I think a few go to the practice stage. One's in the recording stage, that's dissociate and going on. So far, I don't think there's any. There's some songs like just kind of waiting on things, which is sometimes what happens, like with the bigger projects. But Endless Journal, I want songs to just be going in and out of this and not waiting for anything. Like not waiting for other songs to be done. Oh yeah, but that's pretty much the gist of that. So I'll share this again. Melancholy Dream, there's a hidden challenge to collect all 51 cards. If you wait to the end of the video, they pop up and you click on them and you download them. Also, if you read the description box of each video, you'll actually see what I call the text version of the game. Where it like literally describes the video and then gives you choices of where to go. It's like you're reading a book. It's like the book version of our album, which is kind of cool. There's some little hidden things in there too. The text version talks about things you might have missed in the video that are like secretly have meaning. So yeah, that's all in the description of these videos too. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, it takes some inspiration from like, I guess like creepypastas in a way, like just how they're written. But this is more of like not something bad that happens, but more of like a nightmare, you know, falling asleep playing Dreamcast games, and then you go through this spiritual adventure basically. That's what Melancholy Dream is. But yeah, all 51 cards are up for grabs. Let's see who's first. I think when I was making it, I announced like I changed some cards, so there's even some like extra rare ones that used to be up. I guess I'll promote this video again. This is an old composition session when I tried something really, really out of the box with a random number generator. Check out that video on the channel. It's pretty interesting. It made a composing group kind of mad, I guess, in a way. And check out our newest song, Inner Cafe. Wait to the end. There's a new prize in here in this song. There's a new collectible, I should say. That's because Endless Journal will have its own little collecting aspect too. And we're getting more creative with that, because we're like, hey, we can make like secret songs and stuff. Like that would be kind of cool to kind of like just put for people to download if they're willing to like dig deeper. Or we can put comic books or whatever else, like tiny game applications that we make or something to reward people for digging deeper into our channel. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna stop today. Probably next week. I think this week I'm gonna probably keep composing this. It might be finished, because I don't think I had this chorus last time I was on stream. I think I just did that slowly throughout the week. But we'll finish the trombone solo probably. And it might not even be a trombone solo. It might be like section, but trombone has like the melody the whole time. if that makes any sense. But like the trombone won't be doing anything too flashy. Like I'm not gonna make him do those weird harmonics that only a few people in the world can do. But yeah, that's how that will be. And of course I'll do the other music as well. Alright, hope you enjoyed this stream. Thanks for tuning in. This is Josh from Phoenix Splash, signing off.